So let's talk about if you're moving off of Oracle's database offering and you're worried that you have to encrypt, then this new story should be of interest to you. EDB announced this week that they have released transparent data encryption for PostgreSQL. This block level encryption offering allows databases to be encrypted before they've written back to disk to ensure the data is secure at all times. Now, integration with the public cloud key management system ensures that only authorized users and applications can see the database files. Tom, really, what's the ultimate goal for offering this encryption for Postgres?
Ultimately, the goal is to end Larry Ellison's burgeoning supervillain empire. I only say that tongue in cheek just a little bit. I actually sat down with Joseph DeBreeze, who was in charge of a lot of the development on this yesterday, and I had a great chance to talk to him a little bit about it. And basically, what they're doing is they're taking transparent data encryption and they're adding that as an offering to their version of Postgres, which they are, it's a commercial offering that they, provide support for and everything like that. But one of the things that Joseph said is that on the roadmap for a future release, they're looking at offering transparent data encryption with the open source version of Postgres, which I think is exciting because one of the things that you run into in these kinds of situations is you have all of this data that's stored on a public database. And let's be honest, Oracle is the biggest game in town, as much as it pains me to say that. But the way that you get people to stay there is either A, you make it so hard to move the data out that nobody wants to deal with it, or B, you give them features that they can't get anywhere else. And I think that data encryption is one of those features. And you may think to yourself, well, what's the big deal about encrypting all of the data? Well, obviously, you don't work in the payment card industry, you don't work in healthcare or finance or anywhere else where there is a regulatory body that likes to come in every few months and go, you're not doing this right. Well, what EDB's goal is to reduce the friction of moving out of a system like Oracle. And Oracle is one of the biggest areas where they're seeing mass migration out of it, and offer as much feature parity as possible to capture, many of those folks. And when I say feature parity, I'm not kidding. According to Joseph, they've got like 98% feature parity right now. It's just these random corner cases of things like transparent data encryption, which, by the way, is different than some of the other solutions that you might see out there already, where it's like, oh, well, we'll just encrypt the entire file system on the server and then everything's encrypted. Yeah, you're right, it is, until someone gets a hold of the key for the file system encryption, and then they can just get in and see whatever they want. This is a separate level of encryption that's just for the database files, just for the blocks that are stored in the database. But what's exciting is that the transparent part means that you can encrypt it at rest in, say, I don't know, an S3 bucket, so that anybody who gets in from the outside who's not one of the authorized users in the KMS, even if they're able to lift it, it is stored, with reportedly AES 256, which is pretty good encryption. But that means that the applications and the users that need to access it in the KMS, they don't even see it as encrypted because the transparency just happens. So, your authorized applications, your authorized developers, all of that other stuff can see it. And to me, that's exciting, not only because it means that we've added a layer of security to all of these things, but it also means that all of that work can trickle down into other areas that just kind of creates a rising tide effectively so that everybody gets better. And I'm not going to lie, the more people that are using Postgres and developing and making it a better database management solution, and the less people who are making Larry Ellison sailboat payments this month are, that's a win-win for everybody in the industry. So I'm very excited to see kind of where EDB is going to take this. Based on the conversation that I had, I think that it's going to go quite a ways, and I can't wait to see what's next.